what you're telling me. The broken can be beautiful again. The broken can be beautiful.
I am Traci.
And I'm Destiny. Each week, we'll share conversations with families, friends, and experts who've walked the NICU journey, offering encouragement, advocacy, and real stories of resilience.
Whether you're in the middle of the NICU right now, years past it, or walking alongside someone who is, we're here to remind you that you are not alone.
And today, we're honored to welcome someone very special, Brianna. She plays such an important role in Traci's NICU journey, offering spiritual guidance, encouragement, and friendship when it was needed most.
Brianna and I first met through a business connection, but she quickly became so much more than that. She told me about Kairi coming early, that she was a girl. And then after I gave birth, she was one of the first people that I reached out to. And from that moment on, she has walked alongside me in a way that has helped me spiritually, emotionally, and even rebuilding my faith. Brianna, I'm so glad that you're here. Can
Thank
you share a little bit what you remember from how we first met and how our relationship started?
Well, you had come to me for a reading while you were trying to become pregnant. And that was something that I had specialized in at the time. And I don't remember the exact details of your very first reading, but I remember very vividly the day that you updated me on everything that was going on. And I was actually pregnant at the time. I don't remember how far along like the difference was between our pregnancies. But I remember being at my mom's house and we were talking about my pregnancy and how my mom's pregnancy with my sister, and my sister was premature. And we were actually having a conversation about that when you messaged me. And my heart just kind of sank. Like, I remember telling my mom, okay, wait, hold on. I need to tend to this message right now. And I just remember feeling like all of that fear that you were feeling. And I was like, I just need to be there for her as a reading, as a friend. Like, I just need to be there for her. That was my gut instinct when you had reached out.
Do you remember when you first felt intuitive insights about Kairi? And like, what was that like?
The very first insights, I don't remember as much. A lot of times when I would connect in that way, I wouldn't hold on to the messages and things that I received, because I would be kind of like walking around with a whole bunch of everybody's stuff. But I remember having this super strong feeling that regardless of anything that was going on and was to come, that it was all going to be okay. And that was like the biggest thing that I remembered most, was like, everything is going to be okay. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get messy, but in the end, it's all going to be okay.
That's reassuring for sure.
How did you feel when I messaged you after she was born, confirming the things that you told me?
So on one hand, it was kind of like, okay, all of these things are being validated, these things that I was seeing, but that was also heartbreaking for what you were going through. And I just remember feeling like I had to be there for you, because I had been in scary situations where I felt alone or where I felt no hope. And, you have all these people that can say, oh, I'm there for you. I'm here for you if you need to talk. And sometimes you have friends and you have family, but sometimes it's someone you least expect that can kind of be the easiest to talk to, because they don't know all of the things going on in your life or about you, and it can just I don't know the word.
Takes the pressure off a little.
Yeah.
Well, throughout our NICU stay, you were there throughout it all, and you gave me a ton of advice and support to kind of keep me sane, grounded. From your perspective, what were the most important messages you felt called to share with me?
Kind of like what I mentioned before, that she is going to be okay and that she will come home, because I know there was a long period of time where you just felt like she's never coming home. She's gonna be there forever, just reminding you that, like, this is hard, this is scary right now, but she will be home, she will be with your family, and also that everything that you were going through at the time is stuff that you're going to use to help other NICU parents, which I love all now, because that was something that, we had talked about a couple times, and I kept saying, I see you spreading awareness and advocacy and just having a community where you can help and support other NICU parents.
How do you approach offering a spiritual guidance during such a vulnerable time?
By trying to find a balance between extending friendship as, like, I'm a real person and I want to hear your story and be there for you, and also using my tools with intuition and spirit-led messages to be able to combine a balance between the 2. And I think that that can sometimes be difficult or misunderstood, because it did start as a business relationship. But then I felt that it was important to reach out to you outside of that as well. Like, hey, we don't have to book a reading right now. I just want to see, how are you doing? Because a lot of times it was updates on Kairi and everything going on with her, but, like, how are you? How are you feeling physically, mentally, and just wanting to give you a chance to have yourself heard.
So what role do you think spirituality plays for families facing NICU challenges?
I think it plays a really important role, because with those kinds of challenges, it's easily to feel spiritually broken or emotionally broken, and even just a little bit of having some hope or some positivity, it can really change your outlook. And, babies, whether born, you know, term or preterm, they don't they don't recognize right away that they are separate from the mother. So what you're feeling, they're feeling too. So if the mom can be built up, then that also can spread to the baby as well, and help their healing process and their growth and all of the things that come with that.
From the outside looking in and like hearing what I was going through and being there through it all, what was that like for you?
Um, a lot of times it felt like an honor to be there for you, because that's scary as hell. That's hard. That's hard on you physically, mentally, spiritually. It's hard on a marriage. It's hard with friendships and, like, everything. It's hard on everything in your life. So for you to trust me, it felt like an honor to be there for you and to be able to help you in any way that I could, to listen to you, but also to have that aspect of friendship there as well.
Was there anything about the way that Tracy shared her story that stood out most to you?
Yeah, I think it was just how raw and vulnerable and blunt that you were about it all, and just 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 bearing it all out and being authentic about it.
Oh, I did that. I did a lot of that.
You should.
How do you balance, or how did you balance being a spiritual guide with being a friend as everything kind of unfolded?
That can be tough sometimes because, as the friendship develops, I'm getting to know you more, you're getting to know me more. So I would have to kind of separate. Like, there would be times where I would be like, oh no, girl, like, F that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as your friend, we're like, I'm wanting that side of me to come out, and I'm having to like take a step back of like, okay, wait, let me remove ego here, and let me just sit and listen to the messages that are coming through or what's needed, because me kind of going off about, oh, that's messed up and whatever, might not be the message that you're needing at the time. So kind of having to like separate the two parts.
Yeah. I never would have thought that. I don't know. I feel like I would have appreciated both, honestly. Just sometimes I needed reassurance that I wasn't crazy for thinking the way that I was and feeling the way that I was, but also having that calmness, and I can't think of the word that I want to say, but like making sure that my sanity is in check. I guess that's the way to put it. So, yeah, I can see that. Um, Looking back now, what do you think that our friendship has taught both of us?
Um, for me, what it's taught me is that friendship a lot of times can come from places you least expect. And for me, I struggle with a lot of anxiety, social anxiety. Um, and I remember there was that time where you were passing through where I live, and you're like, oh, we should meet up. And we made plans, and I was terrified because I don't think I had like left my house and hung out with anybody in a very long time. And I was like shaking. I was like, no, I have to do this. I have to go. And it kind of taught me that it's okay to put myself out there. It's okay to take kind of a leap of faith and open myself up more. And it it was just an awesome experience. I mean, we went to that like little Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, you got to meet Kairi.
Yes, and that was an amazing experience because, like, I hadn't met you guys yet, but like I felt like I had,
Yeah.
and that was just so awesome.
Yeah, our little miracle baby. I know we're awkward too at first, so I think it was both awkward, but and then you just kind of mellow out and you're like, oh, this really isn't as bad as we thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be.
Well, Tracy, on the other side, I want to ask you, what do you think that y'all's friendship has taught you?
A lot. I trust so much more now in like the universe. Or I have always been agnostic. I need to see it to believe it. And I don't not believe in a higher power or God or whomever you believe in, but I think I believe more now in the universe than I did before. But also there was a ton of things that Brianna would say to me that we never told anybody. Like one of the ones that really stands out to me was when I got a reading on Kairi and she had just gotten intubated for the second time because she was sick, and I sent a picture and I was like, I just want to know, like, is she gonna be okay? And Brianna said that the tubes and wires don't scare her, they look more scary than how she feels about them, and that she loved the music I was playing in the room for her. And my stomach like fell to my butt because nobody ever knew that
Right.
we played music for her. And that I don't know. I think it changed my mind on a lot of stuff that I'm very skeptical about things like spirituality
Yeah.
and mediums and everything, but I think after meeting you that there are some people out there who are truly gifted with these sorts of things, and it has completely changed my mind on all of it. And now I understand that, like, you were probably brought in my life for that reason. I didn't have faith before, I didn't have a belief before, and I was able to find that and
Love that.
believe that Kairi was going to be okay.
Yeah. That's
Well, and
good.
I think too, like that's was one of the other things of like why I wanted to reach out to you just as a friend. Like I didn't want to like because I was like I don't remember how long it was where we decided to become friends on Facebook or I'm gonna message you from my personal page so it's separated so that you have access to me outside of all of the business side because there are other people out there who would use that as a tool to, oh, let me prey on this person and use their situation for their own gain. And I didn't ever want it to be that way or be perceived that way.
Well, and vice versa. Like
Right.
I never wanted you to feel like that was why I was communicating with you.
Right.
Because that was never the case. You helped me so much,
Yeah.
just emotionally, spiritually throughout that whole thing, and I never wanted you to feel like I was taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I would come to you, but I would also, if I had a question about Kyrie, I always made sure that I kept it on the business side of it because I didn't want you to feel like, oh, she's just messaging me again because she wants me to help her. And it was never like that.
Well, and there was also that balance too, where like we would talk a little bit and then you'd say, hey, I want to go more in depth about this. I'm going to book a session with you. Or I would
Yeah.
tell you, this is what I'm feeling right now. I'm not like fully tuned in and connected, like making dinner or whatever the case was. Let's look at booking a session soon to talk more about this. But we kept that balance there.
Yeah. And I think that was really important with both the friendship too,
Right.
because you were there for what I needed, but you were also a really good friend in that time when we felt like we had nobody. I mean, because technically we didn't have his family, we didn't have my family. Yeah,
We
we were
definitely
alone.
more about you than we have about pretty much all of Tracy's family, unless it was bad things. So it's like
Yeah.
I love seeing
Yeah.
where I met you because I'm like, she needed somebody. Like
Yeah.
it's been crazy.
But then even when you became pregnant again and all of those fears of, like all the PTSD and is this gonna happen again? Am I gonna go through this again? Which I still remember that was like the craziest thing because we had done a reading for Kairi and I was like, well, I see her having twins one day. And then what was it like 2, 3 months later, you were like, oh my God, I'm pregnant and it's twins. And I was like, no way.
Yeah. I was really hoping one was gonna be a boy, but it's okay. We got 3 beautiful girls that keep us on our toes every day. So
Yeah. So what advice would you give to other NICU families who are searching for comfort, whether it be through faith, spirituality, or intuition?
I would say that, you know, to find something that helps give you hope, whether it's through, speaking to someone for spiritual and intuitive guidance or someone from, if you're religious, finding someone like that to help you through it, a friend, just not isolating yourself through it. Find something or someone that can give you hope throughout that journey because taking care of yourself is also taking care of your baby.
on a second note, we had a conversation about your birth and how it was difficult, and there were times that you felt like you were being dismissed by the medical staff. If you're comfortable, do you mind like going into that experience and telling us about it?
Sure. Um, I'll start off by saying this was like towards the middle end of all the COVID craziness. Um, that pregnancy, health wise, was smooth. I dealt with a lot of prenatal depression. So as I got towards the end, I was like really, really struggling, and my midwife had said um, that we could do a membrane sweep at, I believe it was 39 weeks. And to backtrack a minute, I think around the 35-week mark, I had thought that I was in preterm labor. I was having like super intense back pain that was coming and going, which to me, I was like, okay, this is back labor. And I went to the hospital and they said, no, contractions aren't consistent, but you tested positive for COVID, so that's what's wrong with you. No symptoms other than what I still to this day think it was back labor. Um, so I had to, quarantine, all of that. I get past the window and my midwife says I can resume my office visits. So she offers me, tells me that at my next appointment, we can do a membrane sweep because I'm cleared, out of quarantine and all of that. And that, once it puts me into labor, I won't have any issues in the hospital, which I do not recommend a membrane sweep. It was super painful. Um,
Wait, what is that? I'm sorry.
whew. It's where they like go all the way up, like all the way to their elbows up inside you, and they like do like a sweep in your cervix to separate the um like the sac from your cervix.
God.
So it's supposed to trigger the start of labor, and I had no idea what I was in for. It was super painful, and afterwards, she said, "Oh, and yeah, and I stretched you about 2 centimeters." So not only did she do the stretch, but she was like,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So it was super, super painful. Everyone says that it just was like mild cramping. I have a high pain tolerance. That was painful.
That
Um,
sounds terrible.
Right?
What?
Look, I had 2
Oh my
C-sections,
God.
so I'm like completely dumbfounded that that's even a thing.
yeah, it was not fun. But she was like, okay, see you in 24 to 48 hours and we'll have this baby. So I start
You
going
send
into
you
labor
home
the
after
next
that?
day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, so on a scientific side, it's supposed to, once it's separated from like your cervix, um, that is supposed to trigger the release of, I'm going to butcher the word, prostaglandins, I think is the word. And that
Oh,
hormone or that chemical is what triggers the contractions to start and all of that.
It's gracious.
So they call it like a natural induction. Um, so the next day I start going into early labor. Um, and it's a little bit fuzzy because when you block things out. Um, we get to the hospital and I live in North Carolina, so it like doesn't ever snow here. That just happened to be the like one random snowstorm. So we get there and um I have my late husband there with me and his mom. And he's thinking they're gonna send me home again like before. And they're like, "Oh, well, we don't have any rooms available right now." We're like, "What?" Well, come to find out, there was empty rooms. The nurses just didn't wanna drive home in the snow, so they were sleeping in the triage and labor rooms.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, he goes to, like, get food while they're starting to draw blood and do whatever it is that they were doing, and then all of a sudden, they rush back in, like, those Ghostbuster suits that I keep calling it, like, head to toe. And they're like, "Oh, you're only allowed one visitor, and you have to be quarantined because you're still in quarantine for COVID." And I said, "No, I'm not." And they're like, "Well, we it's our protocol. We have to do this." I said, "My midwife said that I wasn't going to be quarantined because I was past the window." And they said, "Nope, sorry." I was like, "Well, he just went to go get food. Like, is he going to be allowed back in?" And they're like, "No, because she's here." So it was a whole big to do to like get them to switch. Um, so because of that, they have us now in like it must have been their like overflow storage type room, because there was like someone else's blood on the floor. They had no supplies in the room, and I'm just like scared this whole time, like what is going to happen now? And my main nurse, really do not like her. I don't even remember her name. I don't care. She was horrible, but she kept saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see because I can't wear my glasses with the mask." So when she put the monitors on my belly, they weren't in the right spot. So they weren't picking up my contractions. And they kept saying, "No, you're not in labor. You're not in labor." And I'm saying, "Yes, I am. My contractions are like 5 minutes apart. Now they're getting closer. Like I'm in labor." And they're thinking I'm crazy. They're gaslighting me. Then she wants to come draw my blood. And she's like, "Oh, I might have to do it again because I can't see without my glasses." So like she's trying to start an IV, and she missed. My blood's like squirting across the room. And it was it was my first time being gaslit and not believed by medical staff. And they're like, "Yeah, we're just going to end up sending you home." And I'm thinking, if you send me home, this baby's going to be born on the side of the road in a snowstorm. And my midwife comes in again, and she's like, "Yeah, I still don't think you're in labor." And then I'm like, "Okay, well, I need to go to the bathroom." I get up and I say, "Hey, like, my water is leaking and there's meconium." And she's like, "Oh, no, it's probably just spotting from the membrane sweep." I said, "No, this is I know my body. I know what's going on. This isn't my first time giving birth. I know my body." And she's like, "No, you're fine. Like, we're going to just monitor you for another hour." And at that point, I'm like hitting the button. I need an epidural right now, because it was getting really close. And they're like, "Well, you're not even fully admitted yet. You're not in labor." I said, "I am in labor." So, um, long story short, my midwife comes back again, and she's like, "Yeah, we're going to get ready to discharge you." And I said, "I'm about to have a contraction. You need to stay here right now. I don't care if you have to stick your arm up inside me, what you have to do to feel this contraction, but I am in labor." So she does a cervical check, and she says, "Oh, wow, you're at least 7 centimeters dilated."
Oh my goodness.
And at this point, I'm like, there's blood on the bed from me, from my water leaking and whatever else is going on. And they're like, "Oh, we don't have any supplies in here." So they just flipped it over, and they like kept me sitting there.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm stressed.
They finally get me into a regular room. Oh no, before the regular room, it was time for my epidural. And that's scary. Epidurals are scary. I am not a fan of needles. I am not a fan of getting shots. Like, you want to come stick something in my back?
Right.
And the anesthesiologist was completely rude. I'm like, "I'm about to have a contraction." And he's like, "I don't care, stay still." And the room was so small that, I kept asking the nurse to move so that, my late husband can come stand in front of me so I can hold his hands. You want to be comforted by your loved ones. And she was like, "No, sorry, there's not enough room and I have to stand right here." So I go to like hold her hands, and she goes, "Ow," and yanks her hands away, because I squeezed her hands because I was scared. Um, yeah,
Just can't. What? Okay.
yeah.
Honestly.
So we get the epidural done and over with. They put me in a regular room, and literally nobody ever came in. My monitors are going off, things are beeping, and we're like pressing the call button, and they're like, "What do you need?"
Oh my
And
God.
so Brian gets on the thing. He's like, "There's something going on with my wife's monitors. Like, this doesn't look right." And they're like, "Oh, try hitting this button. Try doing," like, they're wanting him to triage and mess with the machines that are hooked up to like my IVs and my body and all of the stuff. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" They did not want to come in and do anything, because if they came in, they had to wear the whole thing. Mind you, I'm not even COVID positive. Like, I'm past quarantine, all of that. So I finally get some rest and I'm sleeping, and my midwife comes in and she doesn't ask. She just says, "Okay, we're gonna break your water." Doesn't ask for consent or anything. And as she does that, she goes, "Oh, Paige neonatal." And she looks at me. She goes, "We might need to resuscitate her. She likely swallowed some meconium." You mean the meconium that you told me wasn't there
Right.
with my water that didn't break when I wasn't in labor and kept telling you that I was? And because I had told her, if this keeps going and she's gonna swallow it, like, we need to do something. And sure enough, you know, she see like it all just, when she broke my water, it all just came out. So she's born, she comes out, and they put her on me, and then they like quickly take her away because I didn't even realize until I went over my notes later on, they did have to resuscitate her because she swallowed so much amniotic fluid and the meconium, the the aspiration and all of that. And they didn't say anything about it to me in the hospital, nothing. Um, and then they didn't even want to like come check on us after she was born. I think there was one nurse that did, and she brought us snacks. She was the only good person there. She's like, "If you don't mind, I'm not going to wear the whole thing." So she didn't like gown up and do all of that. She was like, "This is ridiculous. I'm so sorry." They didn't want to let him leave to go get the car seat. So she said, "You can't leave, but if you give me your keys and show me a picture of your car, I will go find your car and I will get the car seat and your bags and bring it to you." She's like, "I have to sneak it in though during shift change." Like she was the only one that actually cared about anything that we were going through. And they sent us home after 24 hours because they were like, "Well, you shouldn't have to be stuck in this little tiny room with no one coming to check on you. If you feel comfortable, you can just go home." And normally it's 48 hours for, a vaginal delivery. Um, but it was obviously nothing near what you guys have gone through and the, other NICU moms and all of their stories. But it was my first time being gaslit and not believed by medical professionals. And it was just such a scary situation where I'm like, you guys are supposed to be the ones helping me in this situation, and I'm here feeling alone and scared. And for about 2 years, Sadie had a lot of difficulties from the meconium aspiration where she didn't eat food. She couldn't like her suck and swallow. That wasn't really working. She would have like violent projectile spit up like across the room. Like you had to, like I felt like I couldn't leave the house because it was so like it could hit someone in the back of the head with how forceful she spit up. And it was all because of stuff that went on when she swallowed all the meconium. And she didn't eat foods until, gosh, she was a little over 2 by the time she started eating anything. So she was bottle fed for the longest time with special protein shakes and all of whatever to help her get the nutrients. And every time they'd be like, "Well, did you have any issues at birth?" And I would tell them, and they would just say, "Oh, sorry."
Mm. Honestly, NICU was its own trauma, but my birth was smooth. I had great nurses, so I couldn't even imagine going through that and then having to go to NIC like, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it was.
And then oh my god, and then just them to not even care.
Right,
That
like
nurse, though, the one that couldn't see, to me,
And that blows my mind. Just put on your damn glasses. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, she said they wouldn't
literally.
fit with her face shield, so she didn't wear that.
Then wear a regular mask, weirdo. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, that
You're
would've
doing
off. Oh my
my
goodness. Like,
god.
I am stressed for you. Like, that is
Yeah, that
insanity.
was. So then, I just gave birth. Tomorrow will be 4 weeks. Um, so leading up to my most recent birth, I was scared, like, what's gonna happen?
Was this at the
Anytime.
same hospital?
No, hell no.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Right.
I
Okay.
made sure not to have to go back there or see the same practice because no. But, like, anytime one of my kids coughed or sniffled, I'm like, "Oh my god, someone's gonna get sick, they're gonna quarantine me again, I'm gonna go through this whole thing all over again." And I was, scared of, like, what's gonna happen this time around, but luckily, this one was a really good experience.
No.
Right.
Well, I mean, honestly, the whole thing, I don't even know if this question is relevant. At what point did you feel like the care you were getting wasn't matching how you felt?
When they told me there was no beds. Because
The
no,
whole thing, yeah.
there's no way, and, um, when they put me into that, like, little tiny room, and I was like, "There's no way." Like, it was I mean, my bathroom is bigger than that room was.
That's crazy.
So, right then, I was like, "Okay, this is not a good situation."
Right. Especially seeing someone else's blood on the floor, that would have had me
Yeah.
thinking
Like, there's
immediately.
things were dirty, like, the sheets weren't clean. I'm like, "What?" Like, and it was supposed to be a really good like, other people have wonderful birth stories with the practice that I went to, the hospital that I delivered at, and I'm just like, that's why I picked them.
Yeah,
And then
that's crazy. If you could speak directly to medical providers, what would you want them to know or to do differently?
to listen to your patients or their advocates because oftentimes they know more. Medical professionals will like to go by the book and the rules and all of that stuff or sometimes they like to go by the rules, I should say. But they don't give credit to the patients or their advocates that know what they're talking about because they're living it or going through it. Or they think, oh, or this mom is just, overbearing or overprotective or over worried, or you just listen to the patients and their parents and their advocates because even even if it's, what they're saying maybe isn't what's going on or there's something a little different, like just listening will help them feel heard, which will help them be more calm and feel more trust in the medical care that's being given.
I agree.
I'm gonna say something a little controversial, and I hope that people don't come at me with pitchforks and everything, but, um, not all of them, but I feel like some medical professionals use COVID as a reason to be lazy.
Yes, I
Agree.
agree.
And this sounds like that case. It sounds like people just flat out didn't wanna do anything and use COVID as an excuse,
I agree a
and
thousand
that's
percent. Yeah, I agree.
wow. I I okay. I yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, my NICU was traumatic. I could not imagine being in that situation. Like when I mean, it's bad enough we went through it with our kids where we're like, we know our kids, we're telling them something different, but can you imagine trying to do that for your own body?
Right. Like I 1,000% know I know my kid, of course, but myself, like there's no way you can tell me I'm wrong. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
you know your body. Oh my god.
That's insanity.
I feel like whatever hospital this is, they need to be reported or
I wrote
something.
reviews. I emailed, I
Good.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Ugh. That's so frustrating. And that well, we know in general women are ignored, but like especially minority women are ignored. It's just ridiculous how healthcare has gotten from actually caring about the patients to just caring about how much money they're going to get. It just needs to change. We need a whole healthcare reform or something.
honestly.
Oh
The
man.
healthcare, it sucks.
Yeah, I'm glad that you had a better experience this time
Right.
because that I would have been terrified to well a
You
different
deserve
different circum
that good experience at this
Yes.
point because that's
Yes, 100%.
crazy.
And I hope it was beautiful and I hope your husband got to hold your hand
It
and you didn't
did.
have a nurse yelling at you.
I had very nice nurses this time.
Good.
That's good.
Good. It's definitely deserved. And Sadie's doing well now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
That's
a little over 3.5 now, and she's eating and talking fine because speech was, like, the last delay that we're working on. I mean, she's still in speech therapy, but we don't have feeding therapy anymore. Her speech is getting a lot better, which was all linked back to all of that aspiration and being resuscitated and the weakened oral muscles and all of
yeah.
that, but now she's doing really good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear.
In fact, I also swallowed meconium when I was silvered. Yeah.
No.
And I too had speech delays and
Really?
everything. Yeah.
Really? Never knew that.
Yeah. I don't really talk about it, but yeah, I was C-section and the doctors pretty much told my mom the same thing that she wasn't in labor because she was too calm. Apparently that's a thing. And then all of a sudden I was trying to come out back first cuz well we knew we the apparently I knew the life I was about to get. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You're
Joking.
not about to get my ass kissed.
So then I was C-section and they took too long and my mom said that she didn't hear anything when I was born and then when she finally did, she heard the suction and then me screaming because they were suctioning mm, my stomach and throat out. Yeah. So
Well,
I don't
the
I'm wondering if they're linked.
the situation. When
Think
I
so.
was pregnant with Demi, they kept trying to tell me that I was having contractions, and I'm like, I'm literally not. Like, I was 36 weeks. I had a scheduled C-section. They put the monitors on. They're like, they kept running in the room, and I'm like, are we okay? They're like, you don't feel that? I'm like, no, I'm fine. And they're like, yeah, you're having contractions every 3 minutes. And I'm like, I'm really not. Like, I promise you, I'm not.
And then it's funny because this time when I was in labor, I was gaslighting my own self, and I'm like, "No, this isn't I'm not in labor," and my husband's like, Yeah, like, you're not able to talk every time you have one, like, we need to go to the hospital," and I'm like, "No, they're just gonna send me home, it's too soon, they're not strong enough," and he's like, "They're 4 minutes apart, and you're like, you can't talk, and you like, we're going," and I was like, "Think so?"
It was the trauma from that first time. They
Right, yeah. I was about to say
gas
that I hope that's a good takeaway that people get from this is that being gaslit by your medical professionals can make you gaslight yourself and make you not even understand what's going on with your own body, and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry you had to go through that, and I'm glad that Sadie's doing okay. I'm glad this experience was so much better. That's insane. Well, I guess out of all of that, what's one practical tip you'd give to parents who might face something similar and probably will? And let's be realistic,
at
unfortunately.
one point or another.
Um, to
Yeah.
not shut up about it. Use your voice because in moments like that, that is the only power that you have. Keep using your voice until someone listens.
Yes.
If you have to make a scene, like, get the care that you know you need and deserve.
Look, on this podcast, we advocate for being hated by the hospitals because that's the only
Yep.
way you get what you need. Like, you
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
that annoying, overbearing mom.
Yep.
Yeah. They, I mean, I can't remember the statistic, but there are a gross amount of maternal and neonate deaths per year because of doctors' negligence. And that needs to change. Like that, this stuff should not be happening in 2025 and 2024, 2023, it should not be happening in the 21st century, period.
See, and
It's
I
not
think a
like,
lot of the problem and a lot of the reason it's still happening is because people don't know that they can or how they should advocate for themselves. So, like, even
yeah,
while we're doing this podcast, I feel like I'm learning a lot of things that I didn't know, even after we did a year-long NICU stay. Like, it's always more to learn, but it's hard.
Well, and it's hard when, like, you're a kid and you grow up of, like, you trust your doctor. Like, a doctor is a trusted adult.
Yes,
And a lot of times, like, the doctors aren't trusted people.
I agree.
not anymore.
Right.
Not
It's all
anymore.
become about money now.
Mhm.
It has. Yeah. It's not what it used to be. Uh, it's sad. Well, thank you, Brianna, for sharing your heart, sharing your story. I, I really hope if anyone listening goes through that, please come talk to us because you need to be validated and reassured, and people need to hear this story. They need to hear what's going on because nobody's talking about it. And that's why we're here. We want to talk about it. These sorts of things need to be addressed because I know when I was in the hospital, I didn't even know about advocates and how many other people were in the same boat. So it's we got to make a change. And
We will do research. We will make
yeah,
calls if we need to. Like, we will help advocate however we can.
Well,
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
times you get past all of that and people be like, "Well, at least they're fine now," like, discounting all
Yeah,
the
no.
trauma and everything that went on during that time because, even when
and
you
no,
think things are okay, like, there's still other healing to be done because of the experience that was there. So,
yeah. It's like
yeah,
hitting somebody with your car and then be like, "Oh, well, at least you're still alive."
Right. Right.
Okay, cool, but you still hit me with your car.
Leg is broken. Thanks. I'm now a paraplegic. But I mean, I
Right.
guess. Like, yeah,
Oh
it's
my
crazy.
god. But you were such a huge important part of my story, and I'm glad that you could at least come on here and tell yours. And I just wonder how many other individuals feel kind of how you feel, and they're afraid to talk about it, or they don't know how to talk about it, who to talk about it with. And I'm hoping they could see us, and we're here to talk about it. We want to hear about it because we got to start screaming this from the rooftops. Something needs to change. This
exactly.
should not be happening.
And to our listeners, we hope this reminds you that support can come in unexpected places, whether through faith, friendship, or intuition. No matter what path you're on, you don't have to walk it alone.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Ounces and Miracles, and visit the link in our bio for all the ways to listen and to share your story. And remember, every ounce.
Truly is a miracle. Bye.
Bye.